Welcome back to the Linux for Beginners series. In the previous lesson, we learned about Linux users and group. We also saw that every file has a owner and a group. But what if a file belongs to a wrong user or you need to transfer ownership to another user? That's exactly what we will learn today using the chown and chgrp commands. Every file and directory in Linux has two important pieces of ownership information: an owner and a group. Linux uses this information together with file permissions to decide who can access a file. Let's first understand what file ownership actually means. Imagine you need to create a document on your laptop. By default, you will be the owner of that document. Linux works the same way. Whenever a user creates a file, that user becomes its owner, and the file is also associated with a group. Ownership tells Linux who is responsible for the file. We have already seen this command in previous videos. Today let's focus on two columns, the owner and the group. This is the file owner and this is the group that owns the file. That means Dinesh is the owner of the file and developers is the group that owns the file. Now our previous lessons start connecting together. Linux first checks the owner and group and then applies file permissions to it. Many beginners confuse ownership with permissions. They are related, but they are not the same. Ownership means who owns the file. Permissions are what each user is allowed to do. For example, suppose you own a house. Ownership answers the question, who whose house is it? Permissions answer the question, who is allowed to enter, make changes, or use it. In Linux, chown changes ownership while chmod changes permissions. To change the owner, the command is sudo chown username and the file name. For example, sudo chown alice notes.txt. The chown command stands for change owner. Sudo is used to run with administrative privileges. Chown changes owner. Alice is the new owner. Notes.txt is the file to be updated. After running this command, Alice becomes the owner of the file. Let's create a new file. Now I have logged in with the user student and created a file called note.txt. ls-l displays who the owner is. In this example, student is the owner of the file. Now on the newly created VM, let's add a user. Now the new user is created. To verify, we can use the ID command. Now I am transferring the ownership of the file to Alice. At present, the owner is student, and when we run the command sudo chown alice notes.txt, let's see who is the owner now. So earlier the owner was student, and now after running this command sudo chown alice note.txt, the owner has changed to Alice. Sometimes you don't want to change the owner, you only want to change the group. That's where the chgrp command comes in. Let's create a new group called developers. To verify, and we can see that in file /etc/group, the new group is created called developers. At present, we can see the group of the file is student. Let's change the group. And verify the group ownership. So we can see now that the group has changed from student to developers. Instead of running two separate commands, Linux allows us to change both the owner and the group in a single command. Let's create a new file and the owner and group are student and student. So let's change both at once and verify. So now you can see using a single command sudo chown username colon group name space and file name, we have changed both the owner and the group with single command. The hyphen capital R option stands for recursive. Instead of changing just one file, Linux changes the ownership of the directory and everything inside it. Let's create a directory and creates two files in it and verify. So we can see that we have created a directory and two files in it, and the owner is student and the group is student. And we can verify the directory also has the same owner and group. Now we can use hyphen capital R to change the ownership and group for all files in the directory project. To verify, now you can see that both files in the directory project have owner Alice and group developers. Similarly, the project directory also has owner Alice and group developers. When would you use this? Real world examples. Where would we actually use these commands? A developer leaves a team and project ownership is transferred. A web application needs its files owned by the web server user. Restoring files from a backup with incorrect ownership. Migrating application to a new server. Let's see some common beginner's mistake. Let's look at a few mistakes beginners often make. First one is using chmod when they really need chown. Second mistake generally done is changing ownership without checking who currently owns the file. And third one is using root account for routine work. Here is a quick reference of the commands we learned today. You can pause this video and keep this as a reference. ls-l view owner and group, chown to change the owner, chgrp change group, chown owner group change both, chown hyphen capital R change recursively. Let's quickly recap today's lesson. Every file has an owner and a group. Ownership is different from permissions. chown changes the owner. chgrp changes the group. chown owner group changes both. Hyphen capital R changes recursively the ownership. In the next video, we will learn how to install and manage software using package managers like apt and DNF. This is an essential skill for everyone working with Linux systems. Thank you for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, please like the video and subscribe to follow the complete Linux for Beginners series. I will see you in the next lesson.